fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
Whether you bond over streaming binge-worthy videos, watching sports recaps, video gaming, or by unplugging altogether, the 2026 Lincoln Nautilus Hybrid helps keep you connected throughout your journey. Learn more at Lincoln.com. Available connectivity features and functionality vary by model. Package pricing, trials, and term lengths vary by model. Video streaming and games are only available while parked.
Mary Robinette Kowal is a Nebula Award-winning author, puppeteer, audiobook narrator, and a cat influencer.
My guiding principle through my freelance career, and Elsie is another form of freelancing, has been to be able to turn down the gigs I don't want to do.
We talk about creative ecosystems, building a business that actually fits how your brain works, and what it really means to be a working writer today.
At my heart, I'm a storyteller, and I just kind of switch mediums.
And she breaks down exactly how she budgets, how she hires people, and how she manages to make a living doing what she loves without burning out or selling out.
The creative economy is broken, but some people are still making it work. We're here to find out how.
I'm Anna Marie Cox.
And I'm Open Mike Eagle. And this is Past Due.
Mary Robinette, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted to be here.
We're delighted to have you. I think that you are one of the most wide-rangingly income-streamed people that we have had on the show. I had to figure out how to phrase that. Mm-hmm. Widest range of income streams. There, I'm a writer.
Yeah, well done. Well done.
We have our opening question for every guest,
mm-hmm.
having to do with that income stream problem, which is, when is the last time you worried about meeting your monthly expenses?
Today.
Okay.
So, but actually, no, that's not true. I'm not worried about meeting my monthly expenses. We had earlier this year hit a point where we were not carrying a balance on the credit card, and after having to deal with some medical things a couple of years ago, and so we had a period of time where it was like we weren't carrying a balance, and that felt very nice. And we are carrying a balance right now, and it's like I could technically pay it off, but then I would, like, the savings would be empty, and that would make me unhappy. So today I was literally doing the accounts right before I came on.
Well, that's impressive. More impressive than whatever time it is that since you've been worried. Doing your accounts on this show, I think counts as an act of bravery and solidarity.
It's like confrontation therapy, you know?
Yeah. I have found that if I use You Need a Budget, and I found that if I do it every day, if I open it every day, that it takes me 5 or 10 minutes, and then it's very low stress. If I wait and I do it once a month, it gets incredibly stressful and it takes longer. So I try to just open it. That's my agreement with myself. I open it, and then I get to make things turn green, and that makes me happy.
So we try to be a practical show as much as a show about solidarity and creating a proletarian, a class consciousness at the creative economy level. Mm-hmm. What is You Need a Budget, and how do you use it? That sounds like it could be really important for people listening.
So You Need it is the thing. So I've been a freelancer in some form or another my entire adult life, with one or two exceptions. And You Need a Budget is the first tool that I've found that really makes me understand my income streams and how to manage them. So it's a website, money managing, accounting software, and the way they have you think about it, they have a bunch of tutorials, which are beautiful because they have you think about it in terms of priorities, that you have these buckets of priorities and you can move the money around. But when you do, that means you're prioritizing something else. And is that thing something that you really want to prioritize? And so when I'm out in the world and I'm about to spend money, I'm like, wait, you know what? I had decided that this was not a priority this month. So maybe I'm not going to do this impulse purchase. I say, having just bought multiple costumes for my dog and cat for Christmas, but like, let's talk about priorities there.
Those, you can write those off though, because that brings us to one of your income streams. It's a little unusual for a science fiction author. Tell us about your pets and about that income stream.
Yeah, so I'm gonna walk over to the side, which means I'm gonna get a little quieter, but it means my camera will follow me so that watching can meet Elsie.
Elsie.
Yeah, can you give me a high five? Thank you.
That is a real high five.
Yeah,
Can she do down low?
she can do down low. She can do rollover. She can do shoulders. She can talk. So
Buried the lead a little bit, but yeah.
right. I mean, you know. So Elsie's a 7-year-old calico, and about 4 years ago, we started doing this thing called augmentative interspecies communication, which is people have probably seen it on social media. It's using buttons to talk. So, like I have one of the smaller ones up here. Squirrel. And so each button has a word or a concept, well, a word on it. And the animals learn that they're not, to be very clear, she's not speaking English, but what we have is kind of a pidgin that we've developed between us so she can communicate with the words. She has 130 words, and, she'll tell me what she wants to play. Sometimes she invents new games. But the stuff, I was deeply skeptical when I first saw it, and the stuff that has made me has made me like dive all in, have been things like her correctly identifying that she had a health issue before she had any visible symptoms.
Wow.
And then getting that confirmed by a veterinary professional who was also like, oh yeah, no, we wouldn't have caught this, but that's actually a really real problem. So things like that. And in July, she went viral. So she had been making we had affiliate codes, and she'd been making about, $200 here and there. And in July, we went from 4,000 followers on Instagram to, I think it's 91,000 followers right now.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was explosive. And so now my tiny cat is bringing in about $2,000 a month, which is, so she's like literally paying the rent right now.
Wow.
This is not something you can plan for, FYI.
Although you have monetized it in a way that is instructive. You have a paid stream for her, right? So on Instagram, people can subscribe to get exclusive content of Elsie, which would include, coming clean, like I am an Elsie follower. Like I've been listening and watching Elsie for a long time. Also, we had John Scalzi on, and of course, John Scalzi's book Starter Villains basically stars Elsie. I mean, that is the Elsie story.
So this is look, please, to Elsie.
Wow.
True inspiration. So yes.
Yeah. So then that book is about a cat that uses the same kind of buttons to basically like run. It's like the
rule the world. I mean, which is what cats do.
Right. And so I've seen you do this, and it did go from like you had a deal with the company that does the buttons, an obvious one, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then so like we have some toys and stuff, but now it's like she is an influencer.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really weird. It's very strange. And what I'm finding, like my guiding principle through my freelance career, and Elsie is another form of freelancing, has been to be able to turn down the gigs I don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So when someone comes to me and they say, hey, do you want to do this promotional spot? I look at the toy or the thing and I'm like, yes or no, if I'm interested in it. So someone came and they wanted me to do this thing with Christmas ornaments. And I looked at it and like, these look really cheap and no, not interested. And also on Elsie's page, at any rate, like the other thing that I tell people that when they come to me is like, Elsie does honest reviews. So
Wow.
here's the thing. You can send me the thing, but with the understanding that because I'm a kind person, if she hates it, I won't post anything about your product. If she likes it and uses her buttons, I will post about it, but I'm not going to invent scenarios. And that's been an interesting process. Most people have been like, yes. And I'm like, but you have to understand, I have no idea. Like, we can't do this on a timeline. But yeah, she'll review, she reviewed some broth that she declared delicious catnip. And she also reviewed a collar that she just declared ouch help. So
Wow.
yeah. It's like, all right, that's not a fan of that one. So, it's like she will not mess around. We went, did her first, just our first engagement, speaking engagement, where I went to talk about Elsie. And then we did small group meet and greets, and another catfluencer was there. And she liked him a lot, actually. But someone else had come into the room who was a little deep in their cups. And at one point, Elsie just looks at him and says, travel outside. Bye. Love you. I was just like, and so everyone's like, okay, well, I'll just leave the room now.
This episode is brought to you by Factor.
Cold days, big goals, absolutely zero interest in cooking?
Factor makes healthy eating easy with fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs.
No planning, no grocery math, no, what did I buy this ingredient for?
I love that Factor has quality, functional ingredients, including lean proteins, colorful veggies, whole food ingredients, and healthy fats.
And there's so much variety. Over 100 rotating meals every week, including the new Muscle Pro meals, if you're doing strength stuff.
And they support your diet, whether it's high protein meals, Mediterranean, whole ingredients, healthy fats, or more. Plus, there are no refined sugars or artificial sweeteners.
I've looked for something like this for a long time, and Factor really is the best.
It's good food that tastes great and is ready in about 2 minutes, always fresh, never frozen, no prep, and no stress.
Head to factormeals.com/pastdue50off. That's 50 off.
And use code PASSDUE50OFF to get 50% off and free breakfast for a year.
Eat like a pro this month with Factor. New subscribers only, varies by plan, 1 free breakfast item per box for 1 year while subscription is active.
Are you looking to reclaim your health? Tune into the Real Foodology podcast, hosted by me, Courtney Swan, integrative nutritionist and real food activist. I am on a mission to transform our food system by challenging the corrupt practices that undermine our health and replace them with choices that genuinely support our well-being. Listen to Real Foodology podcast on your favorite podcast app. New episodes every Tuesday.
If you like this conversation, we go even deeper and a little off the deep end in the bonus segment.
Plus, you get access to all our bonus episodes, ad-free feeds, and extended cuts when you support our show on Patreon.
Join us at patreon.com/pastdue and help us keep these conversations going.
So I want to smoothly transition from
Perfect.
your pet influencer to something you mentioned earlier, which is the ways in which your various income streams connect and like the sensibility you bring to all of them, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to try to mention the ones I know about, and you add any that I don't. So you are a novelist, which we kind of skipped over.
Oh, right. Yes, I do that. I write books. Hi.
That's the main way that I know you. I discovered your books, the Lady Astronaut series is how I became familiar with you, right? And then you writing. You have your pet influencer gig, which is $2,000 is a lot of money. Like
it is. Yeah, it's
really
weird.
Is, yeah.
Okay, so she's paying her freight. Usually cats are not like famously not working animals. And then you also you have a Patreon through which you do some writing workshops, teaching
and workshops,
hosting. And you do speaking engagements.
I do speaking engagements. I'm also an audiobook narrator. And I haven't done this since before the pandemic, but I spent about 20 years as a professional puppeteer. And then during that period of my life, I was also doing scenic design, illustration, and art direction.
Okay.
And props.
All right, so you've narrowed it down a little.
Yeah, I don't do a lot. Yeah.
So maybe we can keep it through. You can talk through all of that. I actually did know you were a puppeteer because you and I talked like a while ago for my sci-fi column some time ago. And you remind me of my friend Steve Bodo, who, when I worked with him, he was a freelance writer, but that was to pay the bills while he worked on his experimental theater love of his life. And your situation reminds me of that. It's like the thing you would think of as not paying the bills, but I guess your puppeteering paid the bills while you were getting your writing career off. So if you can narrow it down to what you currently do, expand it to the past. But when you look at the business of Mary Robinette Kowal Inc., like what is the overarching principles and guidelines and whatnot, besides
storytelling?
You. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's storytelling. And that's been true all the way through. That at my heart, I'm a storyteller, and I just kind of switch mediums. Like, I think, honestly, the thing that took off when Elsie started going viral was when I figured out, I can use my storytelling skills to tell stories with her videos, not just show you, look, there's a neat interaction. Let me give you context and things like that. So when I started bringing my storytelling skills to it, that's actually, I think, what made things shift. My main income streams are the writing and the Patreon. And because I believe in transparency, because I think it helps people make decisions, I'm going to actually give you numbers.
We love numbers.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons we started this. That's why we asked the thing at the beginning about what you covered your monthly nut.
Yeah.
So thank you preemptively. And now, drum roll.
So drum roll. So for writing, when I sell a book, and I'm an award, like, for context for people who don't know me, I'm an award-winning writer. I've hit bestseller lists. I sell regularly. I've got 11 books. So I'm a mid-career, mid-list author. And I get about $30,000 per novel that is split into 3 payments: signing, delivery, publication. So that's not a lot of money. I can't survive on that.
May I ask how frequently that occurs? I'm not sure how long it takes you to write a book, so I'm not sure how often you can experience that cycle.
This is a great question. So until the last 2 books, I had a book coming out every year, and and so a lot of those payments were overlapping.
Right.
And for reasons that are not in my control, I'm still actually writing a novel a year, but for reasons that are not in my control, my publisher, my editor specifically, has decided that she does not want to put me on the calendar until I have turned in a completed novel.
Okay.
So, and this is unusual, and I don't know. I don't actually have a full understanding of why. I have a guess, which is that I believe, like, this is my guess, is that she inherited me during pandemic, and we had taken a book off the schedule because it was due in 2020, and I mean,
Right.
right. And so my previous editor and I had decided to take it off the calendar because she, as she said, she was just happy I was writing because a lot of her other authors weren't. But like everything
Yeah.
was, everybody was going off the calendar just because everybody was in that state. So I think that my new editor has this idea in her head that that's the way I've always been, where I've always actually been very fast and pretty prolific. So that means that it's, between Spareman came out in 2022, and then Martian Contingency in 2025. So a 3-year gap between books that was not in my control.
Mm.
And nothing, like, I desperately wanted that book. It was turned in and ready, but she would not put it on the calendar for 2024. So there's a lot of stuff about that I don't have control over. And previously I have had control over that. We've set together what my schedule was going to be. So that's been a shift and very frustrating. And as a result of being able to see that, we really leaned into my Patreon. So my Patreon had been doing like about $2,000 a month. I'm currently doing $9,000 a month.
Wow.
I've done as much as 12, but that involved some Patreon levels that it turned out I didn't enjoy doing,
Mhm.
and took time and attention away from other things that I wanted to do, and so decided to sacrifice that income in order to have a happier lifestyle. So I reliably make $9,000 to $10,000 on Patreon a month. And it has taken me a while to shape it so that I'm only doing things I want to do with the Patreon. And when people start Patreon, and this was the mistake that I made when I started, I was overpromising
Mhm.
and like saying I was going to do too much, and thinking about the patron experience rather than my experience. And the shift that I made was under promising and over delivering, and thinking about how do I get paid to do the things that I want to do anyway. So I think a lot of us have this experience that we will show up for other people, but we won't show up for ourselves.
Mm.
And I love writing, but the thing about being a writer is that in a traditional format, even indie writing, you get paid to have written.
Mhm.
You don't get paid to do the writing.
Mhm.
So I created a tier called Make Me Write. I priced it deliberately high, and it's designed for people, a lot of people who have ADHD or just trouble doing something, who will do it if they're showing up for someone else, and they're showing up for me and for the other people in the group. And so 2 hours on Sunday, I get paid to write, to be writing, because at the end of that time, I do MRK unpacks her brain. So I show them what I was writing, because I come out of theater. I don't, stage fright is not an issue. So I am very comfortable showing rough drafts. And so I show them, this is what I was writing. Here's the thought process that went behind it. Here's the barrier that I ran into. Here's how I addressed it. And that's something that I love. But it also means that during those 2 hours, I have to write, and I'm getting paid to do the writing. And that's that kind of thing has been really great. I teach one class a month. It's new material every time. It's material that I'm interested in. I've also now hit a point where I'm starting to bring in guest instructors. So I'm not having to come up with 12 new classes a year. I think I come up with 6 new classes, which is still a lot, but it's very manageable. And then the The other thing is that I have a for readers tier, which is when I'm working on a project, people can just read along as I work, which is
Wow.
again me getting paid to do the writing as opposed to have written.
You're making me rethink my entire personal business model.
Same here.
See, because I've been having a free ride along in the mornings. And I don't mind it. Like, I think that you're making me rethink like what other things can be available. Like what I think people are really paying for that is the peek inside your brain, I'm guessing.
They're paying for the peek inside the brain. The other thing that they get is they get a one-on-one once a quarter where we check in on goals. They don't all remember that they get a one-on-one once a quarter. They also get an onboarding where we decide and like we set homework.
Now, this is homework for them because you're teaching
homework
the course.
For them.
Okay, right.
Yeah, homework for them. I do not read and critique. I have a short story cohort, which that one I do read and critique, but it's only 6 people at a time. And that's what I have found with the reading and critiquing is that I enjoy the conversation and the thinking about it, but I don't particularly enjoy reading something in isolation and doing written notes and sending it back. So I do it as a conversation, like an in-person critique situation.
Andrew, you can cut this, but I need to ask before I forget, which is Mary Robinette, would you consider meeting with me and some friends who are thinking about starting a nonfiction workshop group?
Yeah.
Because none of us want to be doing newsletters.
No. So also with the newsletter, so I have a newsletter that goes out that's unpaid. It's just, but I hire someone to write it for me.
Wow.
Lovely. Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. And they are, they're riffing off of things that I have said and written in other places, but, and they, at first we were doing massaging, but now I'm like, they know me well enough that I read it and I'm like, more exclamation points or less. It's,
Now, is that off the record?
No, I talk about that on the record. I'm happy to talk about that on the record.
I love it. I'm in favor of it. And maybe Andrew, you can keep on the record. Like I am serious because, so I have 2 friends I won't name, but they're 2 lady friends who we're all journalists and critics. We're journalists and critics, and we're not newsletter people. Like I am a think out loud person, but not a write out loud person. Right. Like, yeah. I do really well. I love podcasting. I love working with students, but I'm not going to sit down and write 3 newsletters a week, which is apparently what you have to do in order to make actual money doing it. Like, that's not going to happen.
No. And I also think that I think mileage varies greatly on that. So what we do with my newsletter, I have what I call my tiny empire. I have 3 assistants. They're all part-time. And I have 3 of them because each of them has a specific major skill set. And also because when one of us is having a brain block on something, we have enough overlap that we can pass it off between each other. And one of them specializes in newsletters. And so if it's stuff that we have already talked about, she generally has enough information that she can write something using things that I have said elsewhere. But every now and then it's something where we haven't talked about it. It's new information. And so we handle it one of 2 ways. One is that I do actually write that section. And the other is that we're in our weekly Zoom meeting and I just turn on transcription and I ramble at her. And then she takes it and edits it into something that is readable in a newsletter and sends it out. So it's always my thoughts, but it's not always my writing.
I have a question. Since you don't, okay, it's free.
Mm-hmm.
You don't necessarily enjoy crafting it in the traditional sense.
Yeah.
What is the purpose of it in terms of the overall economy of you?
Right. So there's two basic forms of newsletters. There's newsletters that are content that are basically nonfiction essays, and then there's newsletters that are informational, like this is where I'm going to be on tour. Here's that are marketing. Mine is a marketing newsletter,
Got you.
and it has informational essay like pieces in it, like a very small section at the beginning, and then Elsie's Corner, which is Elsie my cat, at the end, as lures, as rewards for reading it. But it is really just to tell people, hello, I'm in your inbox again. Here's a nice thing. Like one of the sections that we have in there is, what do we call it? Mundane moments, I think it is. So here's what I'm crafting. Here's what I'm watching. Here's what I'm reading. Here's what I'm enjoying. Here's like there's 5 things. I can't remember what they all are. And so those are
Here's
just
what I'm
single
knitting.
lines. That's usually the crafting, but yeah. And so those are those personal peaks, but it's a very low lift for me. Like, that one I do have to write.
I'm again, you're blowing my mind because you're building an ecosystem for the spicy brain, right?
Yeah.
That is intelligible to me in a way that when I've looked at other forms of sustaining my writing, which is much slower burning, I guess, than other people's, like maybe this is you.
Yeah.
I think we talked to Scalzi, it sort of sounded like him. Like I think and 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 process, process. And then I can sit down and like do the thing. Right.
Yeah.
And also built around the low friction stuff.
Yeah.
And also, and this is something, Mike, I know you heard this and we have to ask about it, which is you hire people. Amazing.
I hire people.
Yeah. So I was going to ask about that. You don't have to break down your budget entirely for us to like what you spend on Elsie and whatnot, but like in yarn, because again, you and I could have probably a separate conversation about yarn.
I'm again happy to do this because it's more affordable than people think it is.
Okay.
So when I started with an assistant, I just offloaded one thing. And it happened because I was talking to Cory Doctorow and I'm like, oh my goodness, I wish I could have an assistant, because my vision of an assistant was someone who is employed full-time with health benefits, which is the perfect world, right? And Cory's assistant just handled travel for him, just put together an itinerary for him and coordinated for him with people that he was going to see when he traveled, because that was the thing he blocked on and didn't do himself. And he connected me with his assistant. And so initially that was all I had going. And you can hire someone to do that kind of calendar stuff for you for about $25 an hour. And I was paying this was when I started, this was 15 years ago. So at the time I was paying about $150 a quarter just to have someone handle, I'm going to a convention, can you set up meetings for me? And it's more than that now by a lot, but you can hire someone between $25 to $60, depending on experience level and what you want them to do per hour. And what I recommend is, looking at what you do and like, what is the thing that you block on that you need to do, that you would make more money if you did, or that would free you up to do the things. And that's the thing that you outsource. And then you start handing off other things. So we have a weekly meeting, which is mostly, a lot of it is community building, but a lot of it is to just go over it. We have a Trello board, to go through the Trello board, to look at the tasks, to check in. Is like anyone blocking on anything? Does anyone need any support in any area? Here's the new stuff that's come in. Who wants to take that on? I have one assistant. We were doing just hourly rate. And this year we switched to minimum guaranteed income per month because that is kinder to them.
Mm-hmm.
plus plus if they still track their hours. So if they go over that, we go back to hourly. So one of them is a guaranteed minimum of 1,000 a month, and the other is a guaranteed minimum of 700 a month.
And how did you find these people?
I posted, so initially it was word of mouth, but then like someone recommended an assistant to me. And then I had an assistant for 5 years who she got a concussion, and we worked very hard, but she hit a point where she said that she just couldn't, it was causing too many health problems on her end. So she still does the occasional odd job, but she just couldn't do it full time anymore. So I sent out a job description via my Patreon, via my newsletter, and I think social media also. But no, I think actually I may have just kept it internal. I may have internal, just with people who were at least mildly familiar with me. But I told people that they could share it to other people that they knew.
Right.
And so the applicants were all people who had at least passing familiarity with me. I had one who didn't, and I did hire her. She worked with me for about a year and then needed to move on, went back to college. And then this new set has been with me for 2 years now. And so I posted that, did a triage, then did email questions for them, including how do you feel about scope creep? Because that's one of the things that comes with the job. And then narrowed it down to, I think, 5 people that I did phone or Zoom calls with my previous assistant, sitting in on those to give honest information, and also be like, yeah, given the way I am, what workarounds, like what are the things that are frustrating about working with me? Because that's I need someone who can nudge me, who can help me track time, because I'm not always great at that. And so that's basically how that works for me. And I'm very fortunate that I'm at a point in my career where I can do that. But it's also like, now that I'm responsible for that additional $1,700 a month, it's like, I have to, it does make me want to hustle a little more.
Well, I mean, you don't have kids, right?
No, I mean, besides Elsie and my dog.
So I have 3,
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think that the point I was going to make, or a thought that I've had around that, is that, my family, I won't put quotes around it, my family, relatively inexpensive to maintain. I mean, it's not putting them through college, at least not right now. I mean, maybe once I get the Fluent Pet buttons, it'll turn out that.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I think one of the, like you said, I have an easier time showing up for other people than I do for myself. And so I find myself more energized by collaborative projects.
Same.
That like this, I've been doing my sci-fi podcast for 6 years, and it barely makes any money, but like I show up, I mean, it wouldn't occur to me to not show up for that.
Yeah.
Right. This project, I would never miss a deadline for this. The projects for my own hustle,
Yeah.
people who are watching saw me grimace, but
Yeah.
for everyone else. And so the kids connection is like, I know if I had a higher level of dependence on me, I am sure I would hustle harder. Mike, you can probably speak to that. I mean, in fact, actually, I'm curious, Mike, does that resonate with you as the person with child?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've told people it's automatic. It's like an automatic gear shift that you didn't know you had, just because there's no there's no room to doubt,
Yeah.
So yeah, you just get in gear and do it.
One of my favorite writers, David Carr, may he write in peace, is his memoir, Night of the Gun. He talks about how when he got sober and had these two twin girls, kind of suddenly, he had to go from like 0 to 100 in terms of just taking every assignment anyone gave him, which has been this thing that I marvel at over and over. Like, how is that possible? How could you do that? But the extra gear, I think, and I'm just comparing that to you having people that you need to pay, right? Like it just,
yeah, absolutely. Well, and the other piece of the puzzle that I didn't mention is that my husband and I moved to Denver because we're doing elder care for his parents. And so he's spending 3 to 4 hours a day over there. So he's not like, he does, I am the income stream. He is working full-time doing other things. And we're fortunate that we're at a point in our life where he can be retired and do that, as opposed to having to do that and have a job. But yeah, we're a, single income family. I guess Elsie now is,
She's pulling her weight.
pulling her weight.
And that's just the beginning. I mean, like, you're going to have merch, right? Like,
we do have merch, actually. Although I have it, we're doing merch in the lowest lift possible, which is a Redbubble, which very low return on investment.
So we're gonna let you out of here soon, I promise. But I'm very curious, as a person who has a spectrum of creative exploits myself, with all of the different outlets that you have, I'm so curious if there's any relationship, and that's a positive correlation, negative correlation, between what you find most creatively fulfilling and what's lucrative.
So the interesting thing that I have found is that I think you can find a way to make money from anything. I mean, I supported myself as a professional puppeteer. Like, people paid me to play with dolls. The trick is finding the angle. And the other trick is deciding deliberately not to monetize some things. Like, I made the sweater that I'm wearing.
Oh, it's beautiful.
People have offered me money to make things for them, crochet, and I'm like, no, I need a creative outlet that is just joyful. So you can monetize any of your hobbies. The question is, do you want to? And I also think that what I have found goes back to something Anna said earlier about how we, the showing up for other people portion, that the thing that is best for me in terms of the income stream is actually who I'm working with, the collaborative part of it. I have had gigs in puppetry, which is my first love and will be, my longest love. Like, if I could still do that professionally from Denver, I would. But I've had gigs where there was someone on the team who was emotionally abusive, and it became something that I withdrew from. I've had editors that I loved that I didn't get a lot of money from, that I would like work with them again in a heartbeat, and others where it's like, this is a really great income stream and I'm walking away from it because I can't. So for me, it comes down a lot to people. What I find is I've got a metric of, I think of it as a 3-legged stool. And depending on where I am in my life, one of those is the most important one. So it's money, audience, and shiny. Money is obvious. how much money does this make me? So I always try to start at the top and work down. Audience is how big of an audience, how many people am I going to reach? So like podcasting, like writing excuses, which is the podcast that we have, that is, I make very little money from that. And that like proportionally takes up so much more time, but the audience that we're reaching is very important to me. And so, and then shiny is just how much do you want to do it? Like I've sold stories to markets that I knew had a circulation of 250 people. And I was getting minimum rate, and I was happy to sell it to them because the art direction was gorgeous and the editorial experience was wonderful. But at another point, we were in Manhattan, and it was during the writer's strike, and my husband was working in film and television. And so I was supporting us on my poetry and writing income. And so at that point, money, everything was about money. It's like, you have bad art design? I don't care. Don't care. No one reads this magazine? Fine. Unpleasant working environment? No problem.
Yeah.
So that's, in an ideal world, all of those, it's a lot of money. You're reaching a big audience and you really want to do it. But you decide based on where you are in your life.
What I love about this conversation, and not that I don't love every conversation, but sometimes when we're walking through someone's income ecosystem and talking about the hurdles that all of us have in terms of motivation and feeling like you're banging your head against a system that wasn't designed to support you, capitalism.
Yep.
And those of us in the creative economy, I think, run up against the edges of capitalism in a more obvious way. Not that it affects everybody, it imprisons everyone, but like sometimes we're the ones who run up first against it.
Yeah.
There comes a point where we have to ask people, so why do you keep doing it? But what I feel like talking to you is that has never been not a part of this conversation. Like you have threaded through why I keep doing this in this way that is very inspiring to me. Like it just isn't a question that I need to ask you because it's very clear why you keep doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. If I don't like doing it, I don't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I will when I need to. But as soon as I can stop, I will. I'm like, we edit that out. We curate.
Yeah.
Well, this is a podcast about navigating the creative economy. So this last portion is one of the most important parts of our show. It's when we turn it over to our guests so they can let people know how to best support them. So, Mary Robinette, please plug away.
Okay. So if you want to support me, the best thing to do is go to patreon.com/Mary Robinette and sign up for one of my levels. You can begin with a free 1-week membership. And you can, if you're a writer, you can dive into my archives. I have over 80 hours of material there. But if you're just curious, go to my website, MaryRobinetteKowal.com, and sign up for my newsletter. And you get pictures of Elsie. Plus, on your birthday, you get a short story. And when you sign up, you get a short story.
Wow.
Just for the newsletter?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow. Wow.
That's a lot of value.
That is huge. How short a story?
I mean, I'm not writing it for that. It's
okay. I was like, you get an individualized, like the things you do, like
no.
I was just
I have an automated story. No, I have an automated story. And I think actually right now, right now, if people, depending on when this goes live, as we are recording, if you sign up for the newsletter, you get the original first chapter or the original first scene of my new novel, Apprehension. And it is not the first scene that is in the actual novel. You get that. And then I commissioned 2 pieces of music because there are 2 songs that are plot drive the plot in the thing. And so I commissioned 2 songs from that, and so you get downloads of those right now.
Well, I just wanted to just shout out something that I know I'm going to be processing in the best way after this conversation, because I think a lot of us think about the value of our work a lot, and one new way you've given me to think about that is not just to think about the value of the work I've done, but to think about the value of actually doing the work. So I just wanted to thank you for that. I mean, you dropped a lot of gems in this conversation, but that's the one I'm going to be holding on to the closest.
Awesome. I'm very happy about that.
Just thank you so much. This was a delight, and it's not just because I got to see Elsie. I also want to send my love to Guppy. We didn't get to mention Guppy. Yes. So Guppy's the pup.
Yes, she is. She's asleep right now.
All right. Well, just thank you so much. Total delight talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. It was a pleasure to chat with you both.
Thank you. Anna, you got to pull it together because it's time for us to plug ourselves.
I'm going to make you go first. You go
okay,
first.
Well, I'm going to go first because I want to, not because you made me. I have announced tour dates, international tour dates. I'm going to be in Canada in January for some strange reason. I'm going to be in Edmonton, Winnipeg, and Saskatoon. I also announced for May some shows in Amsterdam and all up and down the UK. I'm also on Twitch 3 times a week doing the morning show and putting a bunch of stuff up on YouTube where I just hit 50,000 subscribers. Woohoo! All right.
Loan us some of those.
I try to. Sometimes I remember to post our clip. Sometimes I remember.
Amazing. This is not completely on the subject, but lately I've been winding down at night by watching this guy that does like survivalist camping in Alaska.
Wow, this probably sounds very quiet and peaceful.
I'm going to send it to you. So in case you need to build a survival, like a snow fortress to survive in Winnipeg in January. A lot of what I've learned has to do with that. You dig into the snow. If you're exposed, like basically just go down.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, Anna's joking, but I'm like, no, I'm actually going to be in Canada in January, so I might need some of this information.
That is correct. I am not joking. That's just maybe good to know. Like snow is an insulator if you go down far enough. So let's see. To keep my house warm, I do writing workshops that people can pay to join. They can find out more at my website. I did that again at my website. At my homepage.
Your webpage?
My webpage, AnnaMarieCox.com. It's not totally updated right now, but a thing you can do so you make sure to find out what's going on with me is to subscribe to my newsletter, which is newsletter.AnnaMarieCox.com. I am also a contributing editor at the New Republic. I have a big piece out recently about the vaccine, the anti-vaxxer conference I went to a couple weeks ago. And the other podcast I have, Space the Nation, which is about science fiction and politics. But mostly, Mike, people should become patrons of this show, honestly.
That's what they should do. I agree. That is the best way to support this particular endeavor, is for you, the listener, to become a patron of our show.
Yes. And I think I gotta go. I gotta go, Mike.
Okay. Well, that's okay. It is legal to go. It is legal to go. You're not breaking any laws by going. It's okay. Stop doom scrolling. Start decoding the tech, rewiring your week and your world. The Interface is the BBC's fiercely informed, fast, and funny take on how technology is changing everything.
Hosted by journalists Tom Tremaine, Karen Howe, and Nikki Wolf, each episode unpacks week by week the unfolding story of how technology is shaping all our futures. No guests, no jargon, just 3 sharp voices debating the tech news stories that matter, whether they shook a government, broke the internet, or quietly tipped the balance of power.
As TikTok shifts geopolitics, Trump drives digital shockwaves, Elon Musk expands his space internet empire, and AI reroutes the routines of everyday life. The trio asks, What world are the tech titans building for us? And do we want to live in it?
Find The Interface from the BBC wherever you get your podcasts.
Sometimes it feels like red and blue states are just as divergent as post-World War II East and West Germany. So what can the US learn from German political history in order to create a more perfect union? Find out on the new season of The Future of Our Former Democracy, the Signal Award-winning podcast from More Equitable Democracy and Large Media. Hosted by me, Colin Cole, and Heather Villanueva. It's time to rethink democracy. So follow The Future of Our Former Democracy wherever you get your podcasts.